bunch of Labour bastards.
Oh, bastards, isn't it?
Well, bedroom tax is Labour, isn't it?
Yeah.
They started it, and now they're protesting against it.
Yeah, but listen,
You bastards.
look at what Tories did to us before Labour.
Yeah, but Labour started it, was their idea.
Yeah, but you can't take it away from the fact that they both fuck us about.
Exactly. Where'd that little woman go?
We're going to wait another 5 minutes for people to issues here. We don't need them. We're going to call them from the war. We are calling people. They're very on. Send them a message to this government.
What's the name of the radio show? Where's Joe? This is Joe.
To poverty and force the rich to pay their fair share. That's what it's absolutely disgraceful and obscene that a government of millionaires with multiple properties and God knows how many spare rooms in these properties between them then plan to claw back essential living space from disabled people and children. There are many single fathers out there separated who want their children to come and stay at long weekends. That won't be possible under this immoral tax. Look around you today. What a fantastic turnout on a cold day. All of you, every one of you. And that's why I love Corbys so much. We have a fantastic spirit. We will send a strong message to this government that we are not going to stand by and watch this bedroom tax effect on the people. And these millionaires are getting richer. On a day where millionaires are getting 100,000 tax rebate, we are asking to pay for that. That's us to pay for that. That is immoral. Okay, today wouldn't happen without this person standing beside me. Karen contacted me and said, what are we going to do, John? And without Karen's push, this wouldn't happen. And I went Karen, and just remember, many of the speakers today have never spoken public before, unlike myself and others, have never spoken. So bear with them, support them, and cheer them on, please. Karen, over to you.
George Osborne. Good afternoon, everyone. Some of you may know me, some of you might not, but I'm a working mum of two from this town. This started for me late last year after the welfare reforms went through Parliament. And after plenty of research, it soon became apparent the sheer scale of the reforms that were about to hit us all. My family, friends, people I knew who were already struggling. I am so angry at this vile and blatant attack on the disabled, sick, parents. The list goes on. This is hitting the very people who can least afford to pay it. The same people that are struggling at the moment using food banks, worrying about their bills, and then these reforms are going to hit them on Monday, the very same day that the elite in this country receive a nice big fat cheque from the taxman, equating to £100,000. Do you guys find this acceptable? No! Neither do I. I've been watching the bedroom tax movement closely for some time and went to Peterborough on the 16th of March to support them as it was the nearest to Corbys. People from Corbys I knew that wanted to come to Peterborough but couldn't afford the bus fare or there was childcare issues. I stood in that rally in Peterborough thinking about all the people that I knew that were affected in Corbys. you are, and we want to tell the government, axe the bedroom tax. Are we united?
Yes!
Are we going to fight it?
Yes!
I've had many messages from people affected. Some will speak to you all today. One particular issue highlighted to me that I'd like to share is the impact this policy has on families that are victims of domestic violence. Resident X, single mum, teenage lad, worked all her life until she made redundant last September. She was the victim of a vicious domestic assault. Upstairs, so she could finally feel safe in her home. Something that's not unreasonable, something we all have the right to do is feel safe in our homes. So she hasn't got an option to move. Therefore, she will have to fit the bill for the bedroom tax. Do you find this morally acceptable?
No!
Are we determined to fight it?
Yes!
To go without food for the children. They choose between putting gas on the meter or buying dinner. And that's before this tax hits them. And it will hit them hard. Don't be fooled by what the government is telling us. This is not a cap on benefits. It is a tax, and it is a blatant attack on the poorest and most vulnerable. It's a disgrace, and I don't know how they sleep in their beds at night. People, this government thinks we won't fight back, that we won't be able to fight back. But here we are today to tell them one and all that we stand united, Corby Town, and we want to axe this bedroom tax. How wrong were they? We want to help as many people as we possibly can, and the fight will continue. There are more cuts to come directed at the poorest in society, while corporation tax is cut and the millionaires are made even richer. It's immoral, it's vile, and it's downright bloody cruel. So, what do we say in one clear voice? Axe the bedroom tax! Axe the bedroom tax! Axe the bedroom tax! Thank you guys. This would not have happened today without you. You know, this is your protest, and thank you very much for supporting each other and make confident that this can continue. Who's next?
Can you come over here?
Can I just start by saying well done to Karen and John for organising this protest. You've done a fantastic job, and I know lots of people have helped and supported you. Thanks to the gallery, local artists that got involved. People said on Facebook to Karen, what's the point? What's the point of protesting? And I wonder what would have happened if the suffragettes had thought there was no point in protest, or if the Chartists had thought there was no point in protesting. What would have happened if the anti-apartheid movement had thought there was absolutely no point in protesting? And I think of that as we think of Nelson Mandela, the updates this morning that he's not doing too well. You think of all the people around the world who sometimes, when all hope was lost, have decided to raise their voice. Robert Kennedy once said, each time a man stands up for an ideal, or strikes out against injustice, or acts to improve the lot of others, he sends forward a tiny ripple of hope. And from those million ripples of hope, and the thousands all around the country today protesting the bedroom tax in other locations, we can break down this wall of oppression from this government on the poorest in our society. We must act this tax. Now we're told there's no choice. The government say there is no alternative. Well, we are one of only 2 countries that after that global recession caused by the bankers and the property speculators, one of only 2 countries in the G20 that went back into recession. And the reason we did that is because we made the wrong choice. We decided that we'd let young people, and this is the toughest place in the country for young people trying to find work, we'd let young people stay hopelessly on the dole, unable to find jobs, and having to claim benefit. Job seekers allowance in this constituency has gone up by 126 just this year, just in the last 3 months. I know how hard people are trying to find work. I'm doing my best to support them, but we have a government that isn't listening. There is a different choice to make. You know how much it will cost to all of us to give millionaires a tax cut? £3 billion. Do you know how much the government will save from the bedroom tax on the welfare bill? £500 million. So they're giving away 6 times more to millionaires than they will save from this unfair tax. The gentleman's right to point out that the government is making choices all the time that cost a great deal of money. In my view, it costs far too much money for us to let people stay on the dole, and it costs far too much money to implement these welfare reforms that are actually going to end up costing us more money than they save. And when we find that people are pushed into private housing that costs more because they can't stay in their social housing, it costs us more. When we find that people are made homeless because of these changes, it will cost us all more. So my argument to the government is that this makes absolutely no sense, and it seems to me, and I think to everybody here, like a petty, mean attack on the most vulnerable in our society. So we must not let this government divide us. They are trying to put
Any government
work in the public sector against the private sector.
Any government!
We mustn't let any government divide us. You're quite right, sir. And the point about people in Corby is that they will come together, they will see through the way the government's trying to divide people, and they will fight this tax all the way. And I want you to know, as your MP, I'll stand there in Parliament and I'll try to fight the corner too as best I can. And hopefully the government will begin to listen. They've made exemptions for foster carers. They've made an exemption now for people who work in the armed service. As each week goes by, they're recognising how unfair this is. I can see it on the faces of the Tory MPs. They recognise that they made an error here. This could be Cameron's poll tax. Only 28% of people support this tax. So, exactly right. So I say to the government, don't cut taxes to millionaires, stop the companies like Starbucks and others that aren't paying their tax properly, focus on them instead of handing poorer people and more vulnerable people in our society. Let's keep standing together, let's act this tax. Well done Karen, well done John, and let's hear from some people affected now. Thank you very much, Andy. And that's just not about the politics, folks, it's about how it affects people. And that's the important thing, that's the message we want to get across. So remember, I'm going to ask Danielle to come up and speak. Just remember that she's never spoken in public before. She will be a little bit nervous, so give her all the support, a good quality support enough.
Hiya, I'm a single mum with 2 kids. I'm always trying to find work, and I have got qualifications, but with no experience, it's hard to find work. I moved into my 3-bed house with my boys only because the previous flat I lived in was filled with damp, and that was no place for children to live on the money that I am on. So sometimes I go without food, so my boys can have food.
Shame! Shame on the government!
And when this tax does go through, it will be hard
even harder to live and have to keep. When I heard about this tax, it made me think of the Sheriff of Nottingham. So I went on the internet and thought I'd try and find a little quote, and I did. The sheriffs that Robin Hood fights are greedy and corrupt, abusing their authority by collecting too many taxes. The sheriff might be the legal authority, but he was most certainly not the moral authority. And we know that's it. So, I'm glad that we've all come together to fight this tax, to let the government know that we will not let them be immoral, so that then people like me and all the others that are affected do not have to suffer with this tax. The rich, not the poor. So let's go all Robin Hood on there.
Well done, Diana, that was magnificent. But before I ask the next speaker up, I'm going to ask one of the local poets to come up and say a couple of verses. Mike, would you like to?
A model Tory, just out for what he can get. Thoughtless, clueless, out of touch. A modern day Marie Antoinette. So it's up to us, the voters. In unity, we have clout. So at the next election, let's vote the Tories out!
That's what going. The next person to come up is the leader of Corbys Borough Council. Tom, would you like to come up, please?
Right, okay, thank you everyone. I'm very pleased to be here on this difficult day. I congratulate the organisers, Karen and John, for getting so many people together. However, the reason for being here is definitely not a cause of pleasure. The size of this gathering is an indication, I think, of the concern, the anger felt by many about this unfair and unjust policy. As a local authority, Corbys Borough Council is resolutely opposed to this policy and other aspects of the coalition government's welfare reform agenda. We have consistently made it clear to government that this policy will cause great hardship to many vulnerable people in our community. Not only that, it won't work. In common with much of this government's legislative programme, it is ill thought out, counterproductive. Indeed, only this morning in the Guardian newspaper, Frank Field, the government's own poverty advisor, and hardly a wild-eyed lefty, described it as a piece of social engineering that Joseph Stalin would have been proud of. The officers of Corbys Borough Council have worked hard to mitigate the worst aspects of this and other policies imposed on us by central government, including producing a booklet explaining the impact of welfare reform, individual letters to all those people affected, regular public events to share information and advice, credit union initiative, establishment of basic bank accounts which should be in place by early summer, an increase to the amount of discretionary housing, our own Fresh Start downsizing scheme to help tenants move to smaller properties. However, as has already been pointed out, one of the major difficulties faced by this authority and others across the country is the complete lack of appropriately sized properties for people to move.
One Tory fucker standing there like a prick.
Why go up and speak?
Build more houses for Corbys people to live in. Now, none of this deals with the immediate problem of those who face hardship because of these cuts to their benefits. We at Corbys Borough Council will do all in our power to help people in these very difficult times. Indeed, as late as last Thursday of this week, we were seeking legal advice from leading counsel. Frittered and maligned. It attacks family life and is the enemy of aspiration. It will fail to improve the use of our housing, and it may not even save money. It is incompetent and unfair and should be repealed. Now, that's the word incompetent, because this is a government of incompetence. However, one thing they are good at is passing the buck. When Eric Pickles talks about localism, what he means is the localization of blame. Impose a policy centrally, then blame councils when they are forced to carry it out. Well, we know who is to blame, and it is David Cameron and his Tory-led coalition government. And let's nail another myth. There is an alternative to austerity. I will be bringing forward a motion to Corbys Borough Council calling for a tax on financial transactions. We've already heard Robin Hood mentioned once this morning. A tax on financial transactions is also called a Robin Hood tax, to be levied on financial transactions in the City of London. A tax which has the capacity to raise in excess of £20 billion. Literally, robbing the rich to pay the poor. Doesn't matter what party you vote for, they're all the same. Well, the bedroom tax is a policy made in Whitehall by a Conservative-led government. I say, in future, be careful what you wish for. On November the 15th last year, the people of Corby corrected a mistake made in May 2010 by electing a Labour MP to represent us in Parliament.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
2015, the country has the chance to correct another mistake and consign this government and its hated bedroom tax to the dustbin of history. Thank you very much.
Will you give it to Karen later on, yeah?
Yeah, sure. Andre. Simon.
And Mark.
Oh, you're Mark, are you?
Yeah.
All right.
Will you give it
Yeah, I'm going to put it on this first, because it's all on the table.
While researching this, there was I come across a song by someone called Leonard Cohen called The Tower of Power. One of the lyrics in that song said, "The rich have got their channels in the bedrooms of the poor." How apt is that lyric to where we are today? It's so true. I forgot to put that in my speech, but I wanted to get it in there.
Thank you, Colin, and that's very true today. Kaylee, is Kaylee about? Kaylee wanted to speak. Is she about? Oh, not so. We have Henry James here. Henry James would like to speak.
Hello everyone, nice one for turning out. I'm a Corby boy through and through, eh? And, I'm proud to where I come from, you know what I mean? I remember my dad fighting in the steelwork strikes, you know, going on the strike, going on the walk down to London and everything like that. You know, I was only a boy then, I went with him. But in my circumstances, you know, I suppose there's quite a few people like it. My wife got taken ill. I fought for my house as my mum died, so I took it over on a periodic tenancy agreement. So that was fair enough. They said you can keep the house. But I've been living there for 10 years anyway. I was caring for my mother. Anyway, my wife gets ill as well, so she ends up in and out of hospital for quite a long time, and you know, it's kind of hurt us a lot in the family. So at the moment, I'm in the spare room. You see, this is the problem. And they've adapted the other room and put a raised bed for her and rails in, and they put a toilet in, a new toilet thing to raise the toilet up, and they put a bath in for her, so she's got an electric bath to lift her in and out. But I'm in the spare room because if I roll over, I'll hurt her. So I'm not going to go into her problems, but she has got a lot of problems and can hardly walk. And so it's affecting us all. And now I've got 3 rooms, so they actually want me to pay for both rooms. One I'm using for myself, my wife's using the other, and the other I use as a little gym for her, which she can go on a little triangle, do a few turns a day on the cycle. There's no more room anywhere else in the house, and they want to get us to pay for that. Well, I'm afraid it's not going to happen, guys. No! I'll be there, you know what I mean? If everyone sticks together, I'll be there with you. And when it comes to the crunch, let's stick together, man. That's it. We're all in it together, man. We're Corby people. We're strong. We've been through worse, so we'll come through this, okay? Let's go for it. Thank you. That's all I want to say.
Thank you very much, Henry James. And that's exactly what it's all about, how this unfair immoral tax will affect people. This government has gave local councils something what they call discretionary housing payments. The little bit that they gave will go nowhere near enough to help everybody that we should and want to help. That's a fact, and that's a disgrace in itself. The next speaker,
2010, going through court and battling to get custody of my actual daughter. No one would employ me because she was a baby at the time. Yeah, and so what ended up happening was I made the choice of actually going on to benefits and being there for my daughter. Now,
Good for you.
My actual benefits is my what is the job seekers allowance, where it's £71 a week, and that's mine. That's what I use for my bills and everything else. The child tax credits and the child benefit is Talina's. It's my daughter's money. You know, it's not for me to be spending, it's for her. I give her 2 hours a week extra at nursery for socialising with other kids and having a lunch and everything. Now that money is £60 a month. Now I'm going to have to forfeit her education to pay for the extra bedroom in a house that I never originally asked for. I wanted a 2-bedroom and I was given a 3-bedroom. You know, so I just think it's completely and utterly wrong that they're actually doing this and trying to implement it. And I can't afford to. I want my daughter's education to come first. I want her to be first amongst everything else. Yeah. So I can't afford it and I will not be paying the money we gave them.
Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, so you're just doing it.
What
do you mean?
No, it's extremely cold and we all...
No, just out on their own backs, yeah.
But that's how important this is.
People are from or whatever. Yeah, that's good. We just see you not from the tour, live roads or...
Not for me, no, I don't know.
That's the priorities nowadays.
That's good.
Right, so we won't start folding up.
Not bad, I was hoping there would be more, to be honest.
Protest not together, we want to be
Yeah, I would, yeah.
So Karen and I got
unless
in
it
touch
steps on their
with
toes, we don't want to come out.
Citizens and for an hour after this from about, so when we finish, for an hour at the gallery, our fantastic art gallery here in Corbys, well done to everybody involved there. They are holding a surgery there. Peter, hopefully he's here, will be holding a surgery there to give advice and make appointments for people that want help and advice. The gallery is, does everybody know the old library upstairs? That's where the gallery is. Up the stairs by Flower Time. And there is a lift beside it at Chisel House for anybody that can't get up there. So please go, if you need any advice and help, we've got citizens advice there. I'm now going to hand over to Karen, who, without her, as I said, this wouldn't have happened, to let her finish today. Thank you very much.
I like that one. Thank you. The main thank you is going to everybody assembled here, because without you this wouldn't have been possible. The rooftop gallery, the collection of artists, photographers, they've worked so hard making these placards and putting the messages on. They worked in conjunction with us to send the right messages to government. We've got Lucky's and Anglia's news here today, so government will get our message. They'll see what we've got to say. The only thing that I ask is that the placards be returned to us back over here, because this isn't the end. There may be more, and it would be great if we could utilise them all again and maybe be putting different messages on them, but it really needs to go back to the rooftop. To the speakers for being brave enough to talk to you about their individual circumstances. To to Ian Cameron and friends for the music earlier on. To my mum, my sister, friends and family, who without their support, this wouldn't be possible today either.
What we tripod? I thought we were marching.
To Cockers, Sonia, Matt, John, whose help to me has been absolutely indispensable.
You had me at hello.
Yes, Sonia?
I said you had me at hello.
Oh, I had you at hello. The biggest thanks goes to you. What we've done today is something that you can all be extremely proud of. You know, you came out in the cold weather to send these messages to government, and I'm going to make sure that they bloody see it. Thanks, wee man.
Can they share their pictures on the Facebook page?
Yeah, we've got some photographers that have been going around today taking pictures, so there'll be plenty of documented evidence. We'll obviously update the event page with the photographs, and you're all more than welcome to share. To the Citizens Advice Bureau, who are going to be tremendously busy in coming months. And obviously for being here today, you can see them after the event up at the rooftop gallery. They'll be there to give advice, take names and numbers, and book an appointment for you should you want one. That's it. For now. For now. What do we want? Exit tax! Exit tax! Exit tax! Exit tax! Exit tax! Exit tax! Exit tax!
Thank you, everybody. Good. Have a good day.
Exit tax!